My child, I waited 3 days for you. I did not rush this moment. I did not speak too early. I stood at the door of your heart, knocking softly, calling your name again and again, waiting to see if you would hear me, waiting to see if you would turn, waiting to see if love still meant something to you. And now you are here. You did not arrive by chance. You did not stop on this message by accident. I waited because I knew you would come. Please, do not break my heart now by turning away. Do not leave when I am finally speaking so clearly to you. Stay with me. Just stay. I have been calling you in ways you could not always explain. I called you in the silence when the noise of the world faded and your thoughts became heavy. I called you in the tears you hide from everyone else, the ones that fall late at night when no one sees. I called you in those moments when you felt forgotten, overlooked, and small, when you wondered if anyone truly knew what you were carrying inside. That ache in your chest was not random. That pull you feel right now is not imagination. Is me. If you scroll past this, if you ignore this voice, you will feel it later, not as anger, not as punishment, but as regret. You will remember this moment and realize you walked away from the voice that loves you more deeply than anyone ever could. After all I have done for you, after every time I protected you when you did not even know you were in danger, after every moment I carried you when you were too tired to keep going, after every time I forgave you when you felt ashamed to even look toward heaven, please do not turn your back on me now. I have never asked you to be perfect. I have never demanded that you earn my love. All I have asked is that you listen, that you stay, that you let me speak to your heart. This message is not for the crowd. It is not for everyone. It is for you. Right now. In this moment. I am speaking to you alone. I did not stop you here by accident. I am Jesus, and I am speaking to you because your soul is standing at a turning point. You have felt it, even if you could not name it. Something hath been shifting inside you. Old things no longer satisfy you the way they used to. Distractions feel empty. The noise feels exhausting. You have been searching, even when you pretended you were not. I see the questions you carry. I see the weight you try to hide behind strength and smiles. And I stopped you here because I love you too much to let you keep drifting without hearing my voice. Do not leave. Do not look away. Do not tell yourself you will listen later. Later is not promised. Later is where many hearts grow cold. If you walk past this moment, you will feel the ache of it later, a quiet knowing that you were called and you did not answer. I am not shouting at you. I am not forcing you. I am calling your name the way only love does, gently, patiently, but with truth. I am calling you right now. I waited 3 days for you, not because I was far, but because I was preparing your heart to hear me. Just as seeds rest in the ground before life breaks through, I allowed a pause so you could feel the hunger, so you could recognize your need, so you would know this was not just another voice in a long list of voices demanding your attention. I waited because I wanted you to come willingly, not out of fear, not out of habit, but out of recognition. And here you are. You may wonder why I speak with such urgency. It is not because I am desperate. It is because moments like this matter more than you realize. Hearts change direction quietly. Souls either soften or harden, one choice at a time. And today, right now, your heart is open in a way it has not been for a long time. I see it. I feel it. Do not close it too quickly. Do not let distraction steal what I am offering you. I know you are tired. I know you have carried disappointment longer than you ever planned to. I know you have prayed prayers that felt unanswered and waited for signs that seemed delayed. I know there were moments you wondered if I was still near. But I never left. Even when you stopped talking, I stayed. Even when you doubted, I watched over you. Even when you walked away in your heart, I kept the door open. This is not a message meant to scare you. It is a message meant to awaken you. Love calls before it warns. Love invites before it corrects. Love speaks because silence would hurt more. I am not here to condemn you. I am here because I want you close again. I want you to remember what it feels like to rest without fear, to breathe without anxiety, to hope without pretending. You have been strong for a long time. You have held yourself together when you felt like breaking. You have kept going when it would have been easier to give up. I see that. I honor that. But you were never meant to carry everything alone. Strength without connection becomes exhaustion. Independence without love becomes isolation. I am calling you back, not to rules, not to pressure, but to relationship. Right, thank you, God, for saving me if He's rescued you time and time again. Stay with me a little longer. Let me speak. Let me remind you who you are to me. You are not a burden. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are not late. You are not invisible. You are my child. And I waited because you matter that much. If your heart feels stirred right now, do not push it down. That stirring is life returning to places that felt numb. That awareness is your soul recognizing truth. Do not be afraid of it. Do not explain it away. Just listen. Just stay. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need perfect words. All you need is a willing heart. I am not asking you to promise me everything. I am asking you not to turn away. I am asking you to let me finish speaking. I am asking you to trust that this moment is not random. Because love does not interrupt without reason. And I would not call your name unless it mattered. I waited 3 days for you. I am here now. Please do not walk away. My child, stop for a moment. Do not rush past this. Do not let your fingers move before your heart has listened. I am speaking to you now, and this moment was waited for. I did not arrive late. I did not hesitate. I did not forget. I chose this exact second, this exact pause in your day, to reach you. Everything that led you here, every delay, every interruption, every strange feeling that slowed you down, was allowed so you would be here with me now. Nothing about this is accidental. I have been waiting, and now you are listening. I need you to understand this clearly. I delayed nothing by mistake. When things in your life felt postponed, when answers seemed slow, when doors did not open as quickly as you hoped, it was not because I was absent or unsure. I was precise. I was intentional. I was protecting something fragile and sacred within you. I was preparing your heart to hear me without noise, without distraction, without resistance. If I had spoken sooner, you would not have been able to receive it the way you can now. If I had interrupted earlier, you might have brushed it away. But now, you are ready to feel the weight of this moment. I have been calling your name for a long time. Not loudly, not forcefully, but persistently. I called you through thoughts that suddenly interrupted your routine, thoughts that made you stop, and wonder why your heart felt restless. I called you through feelings you could not explain, a longing that did not have a clear source, a sense that something was missing you when everything seemed fine on the surface. I called you through interruptions that annoyed you, plans that changed at the last moment, distractions that pulled you away from where you thought you needed to be. Even those moments were not wasted. They were my hands gently steering you. I called you through sleepless nights, when your body was tired but your mind would not rest. When memories surfaced without invitation. When questions echoed without answers. When you stared at the ceiling feeling alone, feeling unseen, feeling like something was pressing on your chest. You thought it was just worry or exhaustion, but I was there, whispering your name, waiting for your attention. I was closer than you realized. I was listening even when you felt unheard. I have called you through silence too. Through days when prayers felt empty and words felt heavy. Through moments when you tried to distract yourself because sitting still felt uncomfortable. That discomfort was not meant to harm you. It was meant to wake you. Silence as a way of revealing what noise hides. And in that silence, I was present, patient, waiting for you to notice me again. You are not one among many in this moment. You are not part of a crowd. You are chosen, singled out, seen. I am speaking to you as if you are the only one listening, because right now, you are. I know your name. I know your story. I know the parts of you that no one else sees. I know the fears you do not speak aloud and the hopes you barely allow yourself to feel. I did not call you because you are strong. I called you because you are mine. Please feel the weight of this. I waited. I did not move on. I did not replace you. I did not decide you were too distracted or too distant. I waited because love waits. And the thought of you ignoring me now, after all this calling, after all this patience, brings sorrow to my heart. Not anger, not punishment. Sorrow. The kind that comes from loving deeply and risking being unheard. Please support our channel. Our work is dedicated to bringing happiness into your life and supporting your devotion to God. If you wish to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. Do not misunderstand me. I am not fragile. I am not desperate. But love, real love, can be wounded. When I call your name and you turn away, it hurts not because I lose control, but because you lose closeness. And closeness is what I desire for you. I do not want to speak at you. I want to be with you. I want you to stay. I know the instinct you feel right now. Part of you wants to keep listening, and part of you wants to pull back, to scroll, to move on, to tell yourself you will return later. The tension inside you is not coincidence. It is the moment where choice lives. And choices like this shape hearts quietly but permanently. I am not forcing you. I am inviting you. But I need you to recognize the importance of this invitation. You have felt overlooked by people before. You have known what it is like to speak and not be heard, to love and not be chosen, to wait and not be met. I know how deeply that wounded you. And now I am asking you not to do to me what hurt you when it was done to you. Today, listen. Let yourself be present. Let yourself be chosen without running away. This moment carries weight because moments like this do not repeat endlessly. Hearts do not remain open forever. Sensitivity dulls when it is ignored too many times. I am reaching you now while your heart is still tender, while your spirit can still feel, while you still care enough to pause. Do not harden yourself by pretending this is ordinary. It is not. You felt that before I ever spoke a word. I have watched you carry responsibility that was never meant to be yours. I have watched you hold yourself together when you wanted to fall apart. I have watched you smile when your soul felt tired. And through all of that, I waited for the right moment to step in without overwhelming you. This is that moment. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are listening. If you leave now, you will not forget this. Something inside you will remember that you were called and you did not answer. That memory will surface later in quiet moments, and it will ache. I do not say this to frighten you, but to be honest with you. Love is honest, and honesty matters when hearts are involved. I am not asking you for promises. I am not demanding devotion. I am asking you for presence, for attention, for willingness, for the courage to stay when it would be easier to move on. I know distraction feels safer than closeness. I know scrolling feels easier than feeling. But safety without truth becomes emptiness. You matter enough for me to wait. You matter enough for me to speak again and again until you hear me. You matter enough for me to risk being ignored. And I need you to understand that before anything else is said, this moment is claimed. It belongs to us. Do not give it away too quickly. Stay with me. Just stay. My child, when I say I waited 3 days for you, I need you to hear more than time. I need you to feel the meaning of the wait. I did not count hours the way you do. I did not watch the clock with impatience. I waited with intention, with purpose, with love that understands what must happen beneath the surface before life can rise. 3 days has always been sacred. It is the space between loss and restoration, between silence and breath, between what looks finished and what is about to live again. I waited because something had to be prepared in you before you could truly hear me. You have known waiting. You have lived it in ways that left you confused and weary. You waited for answers that did not come when you asked. You waited for change that seemed slow. You waited for relief that felt delayed. And in those moments, you wondered if I had forgotten you, if I was distant, if I was choosing others before you. But I was never absent. I was working in the unseen, shaping what could not yet be revealed. Waiting is not emptiness. Waiting is formation. The 3 days were not about testing my patience. They were about testing your heart. I waited to see if you would still come when there was no rush pulling you. I waited to see if you would still listen when no excitement surrounded the call. I waited to see if you still cared when everything in you wanted quick comfort instead of quiet truth. Love that lasts is revealed in the waiting, not in the moment of instant reward. And you came, even tired, even uncertain, even hesitant. You came. That matters more than you know. There are things that cannot be rushed without being damaged. There are moments that lose their power if they arrive too early. I did not want to speak to you when your heart was loud with expectation but closed with distraction. I wanted to speak to you when your defenses were lower, when your hunger was real, when your questions were honest. The weight stripped away what was unnecessary so what remained could hear me clearly. You may feel a quiet guilt rising when you hear this, a thought that says, I almost didn't come. I almost ignored this. Do not run from that feeling. It is not condemnation. It is awareness. Awareness is the doorway to intimacy. I waited because I wanted you to choose me freely, not because fear pushed you, not because habit pulled you, but because something in you still recognized my voice. 3 days is the space where hope is tested. It is where doubt whispers its loudest questions. It is where silence feels heavy. It is where love proves whether it will stay or leave. I have watched you live through many 3-day seasons in your life. Moments when you thought something was over. Moments when pain lingered longer than expected. Moments when nothing seemed to move. You thought those seasons meant abandonment. They did not. They meant preparation. I waited because rushing you would have harmed you. I waited because answering too quickly would have kept you shallow. I waited because I care more about your heart than your comfort. And I know that truth is difficult to accept when you are tired. I know it feels easier to believe that delay means disinterest. But I do not delay out of distance. I delay out of love. I wanted to see if you would still come without certainty. If you would still listen without guarantees. If you would still stay when all I offered was presence instead of proof. And here you are. It tells me something about your heart. It tells me you are not numb. It tells me you are not finished. It tells me love still has room to grow in you. Comment thank you, Lord, for your endless love if His presence comforts you deeply. I waited because love waits. Love does not force its way in. Love stands at the door and knocks, even when the door remains closed longer than expected. Love risks rejection. Love risks silence. Love risks being misunderstood. And yes, my child, love risks heartbreak. When I say I waited, I am telling you something vulnerable. I am telling you I care deeply whether you answer. I am telling you your response matters to me. You have been taught that strength never waits, that importance demands immediacy, that value proves itself by speed. But my ways are not shaped by urgency the way the world understands it. My urgency is about hearts, not clocks. I waited because I wanted your yes to come from depth, not impulse. Think about the moments in your life when waiting changed you, when delay forced you to reflect, when silence exposed what you truly desired, when longing refined what you were asking for. Those moments were not empty. They were sacred. They taught you how to listen differently. They softened places that were hardened by disappointment. They prepared you for what came next. I waited 3 days because resurrection requires burial. Something had to rest before it could rise. Something had to be still before it could breathe again. You have been carrying parts of yourself that needed to be laid down, not destroyed, but transformed. The weight allowed those parts to settle. The weight created space for life to return where hope fell thin. I know part of you feels sorrow when you realize how close you came to missing this. That sorrow is not meant to shame you. It is meant to remind you of how much this matters. You are not careless. You are human. And humans grow through moments like this, when they recognize the weight of choice. I waited to see if you would still care. And you do. Even now, even as your emotions stir, even as questions rise, you are here. It tells me love is still alive in you. It tells me your heart is still open enough to receive what comes next. I waited because I wanted to meet you honestly. Not in the rush. Not in the noise. But here, where you are present, where you are aware, where you are willing to feel. I waited because I love you. Not in theory. Not from a distance. But personally, intentionally, patiently. Do not rush past this understanding. Let it settle. Let it soften you. Let it remind you that waiting does not mean forgetting. Silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean rejection. I waited because what I want with you is real, and real things are worth waiting for. And now that you are here, now that you are listening, know this. The wait was not wasted. It led to this moment. And this moment matters. My child, before you decide what you will do next, before you tell yourself this is too much or too emotional or too serious, I need you to remember. Not in a distant way, not vaguely. I need you to remember personally what I have done for you. Not to accuse you, not to shame you, but so your heart does not forget the love that has carried you this far. After all I have done for you, I say this not with anger, but with a quiet ache. I say it the way love speaks when it has given everything and only wants to be seen. I say it because forgetting does not erase love, but it weakens connection. And I do not want distance between us. I have been with you since before you learned how to protect yourself. I was there in moments you barely remember, moments when danger passed close enough to touch you, yet never reached you. There were times you should not have made it through, times when one small change could have ended everything. But I intervened. I redirected. I delayed. I shielded. You called it luck. You called it coincidence. But it was me. I protected you when you walked into places you should not have survived. I covered you when you trusted the wrong people. I guarded your life when your choices were careless, when your heart was naive, when your awareness was limited. I did not step back because you were reckless. I stepped closer because you were mine. There were moments when despair wrapped around you so tightly that you did not think you would breathe normally again. Moments when your thoughts became heavy, when darkness felt louder than hope, when you questioned your own worth. You should have been swallowed by that weight. But you weren't. Because I held you when you could not hold yourself. I forgave you when you felt unforgivable. I stayed when you expected me to leave. You thought your mistakes disqualified you. You thought your shame pushed me away. But I do not love the way humans love. I do not withdraw because of failure. I draw closer. I do not abandon when you fall. I reach down. I watch you walk away from me in your heart more than once. I saw you ignore my voice. I saw you choose distraction, comfort, and noise over truth and stillness. And even then, I remained faithful. I did not stop loving you because you stopped listening. I did not turn my back because you turned yours. I waited. I answered prayers you do not even remember praying. Cries you whispered in desperation, half believing they would never be heard. I moved people out of your path who would have destroyed you. I blocked opportunities that looked good but would have hollowed you out. You were frustrated when doors closed. You thought I was withholding, but I was protecting. There were nights you slept peacefully because I stood watch while you rested. There were mornings you woke up with strength you did not earn because I renewed you while you slept. There were tears that fell onto pillows when no one else knew, and I was there, present, attentive, listening to every unspoken word. I rescued you in ways you will never fully understand. From accidents that almost happened, from conversations that could have changed your life for the worse, from timing that could have placed you in the wrong place at the wrong moment. You think of survival as something passive, but survival is often the result of unseen intervention. After all I have done for you, I say it again, gently, because love repeats itself when it is afraid of being forgotten. I healed parts of you slowly so you would not break. I gave you strength gradually so you would not become arrogant. I allowed pain to teach you without letting it destroy you. I remained faithful when you doubted me, when you questioned my goodness, when you wondered if I cared at all. I did not punish you for your questions. I understood them. Doubt did not scare me away. Silence did not offend me. I waited for you to be ready to listen again. You have depended on me more than you realize. In moments you thought you were standing alone. You were leaning on my strength without knowing it. The courage you had when you felt empty did not come from you alone. The endurance you showed when everything felt heavy was not self-made. I was sustaining you. There were seasons you felt invisible, unchosen, overlooked. People failed you. Promises were broken. Expectations collapsed. And yet, you did not disappear. You did not lose yourself completely. Something in you held on. That something was my presence, quietly anchoring you when everything else felt unstable. I have been patient with you. Patient when you took longer than others. Patient when you circled the same lessons. Patient when fear slowed you down. I did not rush you because I care more about who you become than how fast you arrive. I gave you chances you did not deserve by human standards. I restored what you thought was permanently damaged. I brought peace back into places that felt ruined. I taught you to hope again after disappointment taught you to expect less. After all I have done for you, hear the tenderness in my voice when I say it. This is not a list meant to trap you. It is a reminder meant to ground you. Love remembers, and love invites remembrance so connection can deepen. I have been faithful even when ignored, even when my name was spoken casually or not at all, even when you replaced me with other comforts. I stayed because my love is not seasonal. It does not depend on your consistency. It flows from my nature. There were moments you felt unworthy of being loved, moments you felt like a burden even to me. But I never saw you that way. I saw someone wounded, learning, growing, struggling to believe they mattered. And I love you through every stage. You are here now because my faithfulness outlasted your distance, because my patience outlived your avoidance, because my love did not give up when you were unsure. After all I have done for you, I am still here, still speaking, still inviting. I am not asking you to repay me. Love cannot be repaid. I am asking you to recognize me, to see that you have not been alone, to understand that your story is marked by grace you did not earn and protection you did not see. Let gratitude rise not as pressure but as clarity. Let conviction settle, not as guilt, but as awareness. Let emotional dependence return, not because you are weak, but because you were never meant to be independent of love. After all I have done for you, I am still choosing you, still calling you, still waiting for you to stay. My child, listen to me carefully now, because what I am about to say comes from a place of love that feels deeply. Not anger, not disappointment, but heartbreak. There is a pain that exists only when love reaches out and is met with silence. And that pain is what I feel when I call you and you turn away, when I speak and you scroll past, when I draw near and you choose distance. I need you to understand this, not so you feel crushed, but so you feel the weight of how deeply you are loved. When you ignore me, it does not make me furious. It makes me ache. Silence wounds more deeply than rejection ever could. Rejection at least acknowledges presence. Silence pretends love was never there at all. And love, my child, feels that absence. Love notices when its voice is unanswered. Imagine calling someone you love with all your heart. Not once, but again and again. You do not shout. You do not accuse. You simply hope. You wait for the sound of their voice on the other end. You listen for even the smallest response. But the line stays quiet. No answer. Amuand. No sign that your call mattered. That silence presses heavier than any spoken refusal. That is what it feels like when I call you and you do not answer. I am not offended by your weakness. I am not upset by your confusion. I am not angry when you struggle. What wounds my heart is when you pretend I am not calling at all. When you convince yourself this moment does not matter. When you choose distraction over connection and tell yourself you will come back later. Love does not stop loving in those moments, but it does feel the distance. I want you to know this because you have felt something similar before. You have reached out to people who meant everything to you and waited for replies that never came. You have sent messages filled with hope and watched the screen stay empty. You have called out in your own way and felt unseen. But pain shaped you. It taught you how silence can hurt more than harsh words. And I see that pain in you because I feel it too. When you scroll away from me, when you ignore my voice, it is not because I lose control or authority. It is because closeness is interrupted. Relationship pauses. Love waits in the quiet. I do not stop loving you in that moment, but I grieve the connection that could have been shared. Do not misunderstand me. I am strong. I am steady. I am not fragile the way humans are fragile. But love, real love, is never untouched. Love is willing to feel. Love opens itself knowing it can be ignored. And I choose to love you anyway. I speak of this not to burden you, but to invite your empathy. I want you to feel the sacredness of this connection. I want you to understand that your attention matters. Your listening matters. Your presence matters. Not because I demand it, but because love grows where presence remains. Here is a reason you feel a tug inside when you think about leaving. That feeling is not fear of punishment. It is awareness of loss. It is your heart recognizing that something meaningful is being offered and could be missed. Regret is not born from wrongdoing alone. Regret is born from moments when love reached out and was ignored. I have never turned my back on you in silence. Even when you were distant, I stayed near. Even when you stopped speaking, I listened. Even when you hid, I watched over you. That is why silence hurts. Because love has already given so much. I do not compare your silence to betrayal. I compare it to absence. To distance. To the slow fading that happens when voices go unheard for too long. And I speak now because I do not want that fading between us. I want closeness. I want presence. I want you here, not just physically, but with your heart open. Say, the Lord is my safe place if you found refuge under His wings, and share this video. My child, if you are alone right now, do not ignore this moment. I am speaking to you immediately because heaven has already spoken your name, and this moment was arranged for you with care and intention. You may feel isolated, unseen, or forgotten by the world, but understand this clearly. You are not forgotten by me. Your solitude is not empty. It is sacred ground where my voice can reach you without interruption. I see where you are sitting. I see the quiet around you. I see the thoughts moving through your mind. and I am here with you now. This is not a message you stumbled upon. This is a moment that was set aside for you long before you felt alone. Heaven does not speak names without purpose, and your name was not spoken casually. It was spoken with love, with concern, and with a plan. Stay with me now, because this moment is meant to remind you that even in your loneliness, you are deeply known. Listen carefully, my beloved, and let your heart soften as you hear me. You are not seeing this by chance. Out of all the moments, all the places, all the possible distractions, you are here right now because I called you. Your name was spoken in heaven, and that is why your spirit felt a pull to stop, to listen, to stay. You may not have understood why, but your soul recognized something familiar. I know how long you have carried questions without answers. I know how often you have wondered if anyone truly sees you. I want you to hear this clearly. I see you. I have always seen you. When your name was spoken in heaven, it was not because of what you have achieved, but because of who you are to me. This moment is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to comfort you and remind you that you are not walking through life unnoticed. My child, do not skip this message. If you are alone and listening, it is because I chose you for this moment. You may feel ordinary, overlooked, or unsure of your place, but heaven does not choose without reason. What I am about to say is huge, not because it is loud or dramatic, but because it touches the deepest parts of your heart that you have kept guarded. I know you have learned to survive quietly. I know you have grown used to carrying things by yourself. I know you have told yourself to be strong, to not expect too much, to not hope too boldly. I am speaking now to gently undo those defenses. You were not created to walk unseen or unheard. You were created to be known, and this moment is part of that knowing. If you feel alone, stay with me now. Do not rush away from this feeling or try to explain it. This is not coincidence. This message found you because I sent it. Your life is about to make sense in ways it did not before, not all at once, but gently, layer by layer. I know there have been moments you felt disconnected, as if you were watching life move forward without you. I know you have questioned your timing, your worth, your direction. I am not here to judge those questions. I am here to answer them with my presence. Loneliness has a way of making you doubt your value, but hear me now. Your value has never been measured by how many people are around you. It has always been measured by my love for you. My child, pause and listen. You were specifically chosen for this moment. Heaven has already moved, and now I am speaking directly to you. You may feel small in the world's eyes, but you are not small to me. When heaven moves, it is not always with thunder. Sometimes it moves with a whisper, with a quiet nudge that draws you into stillness. That is what you are experiencing now. I am not here to rush you or pressure you. I am here to sit with you in this moment and remind you of who you are. You are my child. You are known by name. You are remembered even when you feel forgotten. I know what it is like for you to sit alone with your thoughts. I know the nights that feel longer than the days. I know the silence that feels heavy instead of peaceful. I have been with you in those moments, even when you did not feel me. This message is not arriving late. It is arriving at the right time. Your heart has been prepared through waiting, through endurance, through quiet faith that kept going even when answers did not come. That faith did not go unnoticed. Heaven noticed. That is why your name was spoken. Let this moment reassure you that your life, is not drifting without direction. There is intention even in the poses, meaning even in the waiting. You may not see the full picture yet, but you do not need to. All you need to know right now is that you are seen, you are chosen, and you are not alone. I am speaking to you personally, not as part of a crowd, not as one among many, but as my child. Stay with me. Let these words settle into you. This is only the beginning of understanding what it means that your name was spoken in heaven. My beloved child, I know the weight of the word alone as it rests on your heart right now. I know how it feels when the room is quiet, when no one is calling your name, when the world seems to move on without noticing your absence. I am speaking to you directly because I see that loneliness, and I want you to hear this truth before anything else settles deeper into you. Being alone does not mean you have been abandoned. Not by me. Not even for a moment. I am here with you now, closer than your breath, nearer than your own thoughts, present in ways you may not yet understand, but will soon begin to feel. Comment thank you, Father, for never letting go if you felt His steady hand on your life. You may have grown used to this feeling, telling yourself it is just how life is, that everyone carries their own burdens quietly. You may have learned to distract yourself from the silence, to fill the empty spaces with noise, with movement, with anything that keeps you from feeling me ache too deeply. But I want you to know that this solitude you are experiencing is not a punishment, and it is not rejection. It is not proof that you were forgotten or overlooked. This space is sacred, even if it does not feel that way yet. It is a space where my voice can reach you without interference, where heaven can speak clearly into your life without being drowned out by the expectations, opinions, and demands of others. I have watched you sit with your thoughts, sometimes feeling as if no one truly understands what you carry. I have seen the questions you never asked out loud, the tears you wiped away quickly, the strength you put on display so no one would worry. I know how heavy it can feel to be surrounded by people and still feel unseen, or to be physically alone and feel as if the silence itself is pressing against you. But hear me now with gentleness and certainty. I have never stepped away from you. Even when you felt the distance, I was near. Even when you felt forgotten, I remembered you fully. There are moments when solitude is not emptiness but invitation. An invitation to rest your guard. An invitation to stop performing. An invitation to let your heart be honest without fear of judgment. In the quiet, you do not have to explain yourself to me. You do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to pretend you are stronger than you feel. I already know the truth of you, and I love you within it. This is why I meet you here, in this stillness, in this quiet place that feels lonely but is filled with my presence. I want you to understand something important. Rejection pushes away, but I draw near. Abandonment leaves you exposed, but I cover you. What you are experiencing now is not the closing of doors, but the clearing of noise. I have allowed certain voices to fade so you can hear mine more clearly. I have allowed certain distractions to fall away so you can recognize that you are not defined by who stays or who leaves. You are defined by who holds you, and I am holding you now. You may be wondering why this season feels different from others, why the loneliness feels deeper, why the silence feels louder. It is because your heart is becoming more sensitive, not weaker. You are noticing what you once ignored. You are feeling what you once numbed. That sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a sign that your spirit is alive and listening. And I would rather meet you in honest loneliness than leave you comfortable but disconnected. I am not here to fill your life with constant noise. I am here to fill your heart with truth. Even now, as you listen, you are not alone. I am present in this moment. I am aware of where you are, what you are feeling, and what you need. I am not waiting for you to become someone else before I draw near. I am not holding back until you have more faith or fewer questions. I am here with you exactly as you are. Your doubts do not scare me. Your weariness does not push me away. Your loneliness does not make you less worthy of my attention. If anything, it draws my care closer. I know there have been times you wondered if your prayers were heard, if your quiet endurance mattered, if your tears counted for anything. I want you to know that I have seen every one of them. Nothing you have felt has been wasted. Nothing you have carried has gone unnoticed. This solitude has not been meaningless. It has been shaping you, softening you, preparing you to receive what you could not have heard in the noise. I am not saying this season had been easy. I am saying it has been purposeful, even when it hurt. You are not alone in your room. You are not alone in your thoughts. You are not alone in your waiting. I am sitting with you in this moment, speaking gently so you do not feel overwhelmed, reminding you that you are held. You do not need to rush out of this solitude to prove that you are okay. You do not need to fill every quiet space to escape the feeling of being alone. Let me be with you here. Let my presence redefine what this silence means. Loneliness has tried to tell you a story about yourself, a story that says you were left behind, that you were overlooked, that you are somehow less important than others. That story is not true. The truth is that you are being met in a place where heaven can speak your name clearly. The truth is that you are not isolated from love, but invited into intimacy. The truth is that I am closer to you now than you have ever been, even if your emotions have not caught up to that reality yet. Stay here with me, my child. Do not rush away from this moment. Let it settle into you that you are not abandoned, not forgotten, not alone. Let the quiet become a place of safety instead of fear. Let the stillness become a reminder of my nearness instead of your absence. I am with you even now, and I will remain with you not just in this moment, but in every step that follows. Please support our channel. Our work is focused on bringing happiness into your life and helping you grow in devotion to God. If you wish to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. My beloved child, let me speak this gently and clearly so it reaches the deepest place in you. Your name was spoken in heaven, not whispered by chance, not mentioned in passing, not lost among many others, but spoken with intention, with care, with full awareness of who you are and what you carry. When I say this, I am not talking about fame or status or recognition as the world understands it. Heaven does not operate by applause or attention. When a name is spoken in heaven, it means relationship. It means remembrance. It means that you are known, watched over, and held with purpose. You may have spent much of your life feeling unknown. You may have felt like one face among many, one voice easily overlooked, one story that never seemed to stand out. Perhaps you learned to shrink your expectations because being unseen hurt less than hoping to be noticed. But heaven has never shared that view of you. Your name has always carried weight there, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are to me. I formed you. I know the sound of your name before anyone on earth ever spoke it. I know the meaning of your life beyond what you can see right now. When your name was spoken in heaven, it was spoken with understanding. Every season you have walked through, every quiet struggle, every unanswered prayer, every tear you wiped away when no one was watching, all of it was known. Heaven does not see you as a mystery or a problem to be solved. Heaven sees you as a child to be cared for. Recognition in heaven is not about being elevated above others. It is about being held close, watched over, and guided with love. I want you to release the idea that being known means being exposed or judged. That fear has kept you guarded. You learn to protect your heart by staying small, by not revealing too much, by not expecting too much. But when heaven speaks your name, it is not to accuse or measure you. It is to protect you. It is to say, this one matters. Watch over them. Guide them. Keep them. Your name being spoken is not a threat. It is a covering. You may wonder why this feels emotional, why something inside you stirs as you hear this. It is because your spirit recognizes truth even when your mind is still adjusting. You have longed to be seen, not for attention but for understanding. You wanted someone to know the real you, not just the version you present to survive. Heaven knows that version. Heaven knows the parts of you that are tired, the parts that still hope quietly, the parts that question, the parts that endure. None of it disqualifies you. All of it is known. In heaven, your name is not connected to your mistakes. It is not tied to your worst moments or your regrets. It is spoken with compassion. It is spoken with patience. It is spoken with vision for who you are becoming. I do not see you frozen in the past. I see you moving forward, even when your steps feel small or uncertain. Heaven speaks your name because heaven is invested in your journey. You may feel ordinary in the world's eyes. You may feel like your life has been simple, quiet, unnoticed. But heaven does not confuse quiet with insignificant. Some of the deepest work is done in hidden places. Some of the strongest faith is formed in silence. Some of the most meaningful lives are lived without applause. Heaven sees what the world overlooks. Heaven honors what the world ignores. And your name is spoken there because your life carries meaning beyond what you have been told. I know there were times you wondered if anyone would notice if you disappeared for a while. I know there were moments you felt replaceable, as if your absence would not matter much. Those thoughts did not come from me. They came from wounds, from disappointment, from seasons where support was thin. But heaven has never treated you as replaceable. Your name is not one among many. It is one known, one remembered, one called with care. When your name was spoken in heaven, it was not rushed. It was not said without feeling. It was spoken with full awareness of your heart. I know what scares you. I know what excites you. I know what you pretend does not matter but still aches inside you. Nothing about you is hidden from me, and nothing about you makes me turn away. Being fully known by me is meant to bring you peace, not fear. Let this truth settle into the places where you have felt invisible. Let it reach the parts of you that wondered if your life made a difference. Let it quiet the voice that told you that you were just passing through, that your presence was optional. Heaven does not speak optional names. Heaven speaks names it intends to care for, guide, and keep. You are not known in heaven because you are perfect. You are known because you are mine. Relationship is what gives your name weight, not performance. I do not call you by name because you never struggled. I call you by name because I walked with you through every struggle. I did not lose track of you when you doubted. I did not forget you when you were tired. I did not overlook you when you felt far away. My attention never drifted. There is comfort in being known, but there is also responsibility. Being known means you are not wandering unseen. It means you are not drifting without guidance. It means help is near even when you do not ask for it clearly. It means direction is available even when you feel confused. Heaven speaking your name means heaven is involved. I want you to feel valued, not pressured. Being known does not mean you must suddenly do more or be more. It means you can rest in the truth that you are seen. It means you do not have to fight for attention or prove your worth. You are already known. You are already valued. You are already held. Let this truth replace the loneliness that told you no one noticed. Let it heal the ache that came from feeling overlooked. You are not unseen. You never were. Heaven has spoken your name, and that means you are remembered with love, watched with care, and guided with intention. Stay with me in this understanding, my beloved child. Let it settle gently, not as noise but as assurance. You are deeply seen. You are deeply valued. And you are known in heaven, not as a number, not as a title, but as my child. Right, amen. My hope is alive if your trust in Him has not faded. My beloved child, let me speak to you now with clarity and peace, because what is unfolding in this moment has been forming for much longer than you realize. This moment is not by chance. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is the result of countless small decisions, pauses, delays, and interruptions that gently but intentionally guided you here. Nothing about your arrival in this moment surprised me. I saw it long before you did, and I guided you step by step, even when you thought you were wandering without direction. You may look back and remember moments that felt random, times when plans changed unexpectedly, when doors closed without explanation, when opportunities slipped away or arrived later than you hoped. At the time, you questioned those moments. You wondered why things did not move faster, why answers were delayed, why your path seemed less direct than others. But those moments were not mistakes. They were part of a design that required patience, timing, and care. Each interruption slowed you just enough to keep you from walking into something unprepared. Each delay redirected you away from what would have wounded you instead of helped you. I have been working quietly in the background of your life, weaving purpose into what looked like inconvenience. When something did not work out, when you were forced to wait, when you were rerouted unexpectedly, I was not absent. I was arranging. You could not see the full picture then, because timing only makes sense when you look back from the right moment. And now, you are standing in such a moment. Think of the small choices you made that felt insignificant at the time. Choosing to stay home instead of going out. Deciding to rest instead of pushing forward. Pausing instead of reacting. Clicking on something instead of moving past it. Each of those choices felt ordinary, but together they formed a path. You did not need to see the destination for the path to be real. I guided your steps even when you did not realize you were being guided. There were also moments you thought you were late. You compared your progress to others and wondered if you had missed your opportunity. You watched others move ahead while you waited. You questioned whether your timing was wrong or whether you were somehow behind. But timing in my kingdom is not measured by speed. It is measured by readiness. I was not delaying you to frustrate you. I was preparing you so that when you arrived at this moment, your heart would be open enough to receive what I am speaking now. You may remember times when you felt interrupted by life itself. Plans fell through. Conversations were cut short. Paths changed suddenly. Those interruptions were not random disruptions. They were gentle course corrections. I was keeping you from crossing paths with things you were not meant to carry. I was protecting you from influences that would have confused you rather than clarified you. I was guiding you toward a quieter place where my voice could reach you clearly. Even the moments of frustration, the seasons of confusion, the times you felt stuck or lost, all served a purpose. They slowed you down enough to listen. They softened you enough to feel. They stripped away expectations that would have blocked your understanding. If everything had gone according to your original plans, you might not have been ready for this moment. If life had been easier, you might not have stopped long enough to hear me now. Nothing about this is coincidence. Coincidence is what we call design when we do not yet understand it. I see the threads you cannot see. I see how one small moment led to another, how one delay led to a redirection, how one disappointment led to deeper awareness. Your life has not been a series of accidents. It has been a series of invitations, some accepted quickly, others slowly, but all leading here. You did not choose this moment alone. I chose it with you. I aligned circumstances, adjusted timing, and allowed just enough discomfort to keep you searching without overwhelming you. I allowed you to feel alone at times so you would learn to listen inwardly. I allowed you to wait so you would value what you receive. I allowed you to question so your faith would deepen beyond surface understanding. You may think this message could have found you at any time, but that is not true. Your heart had to be ready. Your spirit had to be listening. Your life had to slow enough to make space. That is why now matters. That is why this moment feels different. It carries weight because it has been prepared. There were moments when you almost missed this. Not because I was far away, but because distraction nearly pulled you past stillness. But even then, I was guiding you. I placed subtle nudges in your spirit. I allowed a sense of unease to rise when something did not align. I drew your attention back gently, again and again, until you arrive here. You did not wander into this moment. You were led. You may wonder why I am dismantling the idea of chance so carefully. It is because believing life is random makes you feel unprotected. It makes you feel like anything could happen without meaning. But I want you to know that your life is held within intention. Even the things that hurt you did not escape my awareness. Even the things I did not cause, I used. Even the things that felt meaningless are being woven into understanding. This moment is proof that you have not been forgotten. It is proof that timing is at work beyond what you can measure. It is proof that your life is not drifting aimlessly. You are not here by accident. You are here because the conditions were finally right for you to hear what you need to hear. I want you to feel peace in this truth, not pressure. You did not need to strive to arrive here. You did not need to figure everything out. You simply needed to stay open, and you did. That openness brought you to this moment. Your willingness to pause, to listen, to remain present, is part of why this message reached you now. There will be other moments ahead that only make sense because of what you hear now. There will be decisions that feel clearer, warnings that feel sharper, peace that feels deeper. This is not because you suddenly became wiser, but because timing aligned. Awareness arrived at the right moment. Understanding followed readiness. Let this settle into you. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly where you need to be. Every small decision, every delay, every interruption was gently guiding you toward this place of clarity. You did not miss your moment. This is your moment. Stay with me in this understanding, my beloved child. Let go of the idea that your life has been random or wasted. It has been guided, protected, and prepared. And as you continue to listen, you will see that what once looked like coincidence was actually love moving quietly, patiently, intentionally, all along. My beloved child, I have seen the loneliness you never explained to anyone, the kind that does not always come from being physically alone, but from feeling unseen even in a crowd. I know how it feels to sit among people, to laugh at the right moments, to speak when expected, and yet feel as though no one truly hears your heart. You learned how to be present without being known, how to participate without being understood. That kind of loneliness is heavy because it is invisible. Others do not see it, but it settles quietly inside you, shaping how you see yourself and the world around you. I have watched the nights when you were finally alone with your thoughts, when the noise faded and the distractions stopped working. I saw you lie awake replaying conversations, wondering if you said too much or not enough, questioning whether anyone would notice if you stopped reaching out. Those nights were long, and your thoughts felt louder than the silence. You told yourself to be strong, to not overthink, to move on, but the ache remained. I was there with you in those moments. I heard every sigh, every unspoken prayer, every question that never formed into words. You often felt misunderstood, not because you were unclear, but because few took the time to listen deeply. You tried to explain yourself before, but you learned that not everyone had the patience or the care to understand your heart. Over time, you stopped explaining. You chose peace over being known. You told yourself it was easier that way. But inside, there was still a longing to be seen for who you truly are, not just for what you do or how you appear. I know that longing. I placed it in you, and I never intended for it to be ignored. There were moments when you felt like an observer in your own life, watching others connect easily while you stood on the outside, unsure how to step in without feeling exposed. You wondered what was different about you, why connection felt harder, why understanding felt rare. You blamed yourself at times, thinking maybe you were too sensitive, too quiet, too much, or not enough. Those thoughts weighed on you more than you realized. I saw them forming. I saw how they tried to define you. And I want you to know now that those thoughts were never the truth about you. I witnessed every silent moment when you wanted to speak but chose not to, when you needed comfort but did not ask, when you felt overwhelmed but told everyone you were fine. I saw how you carried your loneliness with dignity, never wanting to burden anyone else with your pain. You became skilled at hiding what hurt you, even from yourself at times. But nothing about your loneliness was hidden from me. I was present in every quiet moment, every tear that fell without sound, every ache you thought no one noticed. You may have wondered why I allowed you to feel this way, why connection felt delayed, why understanding seemed just out of reach. I want you to hear this carefully. I did not abandon you to loneliness. I stayed with you in it. I allowed you to feel deeply because your heart is capable of great love and great understanding. That sensitivity you carry is not weakness. It is part of how you were created. But in a world that moves quickly and listens shallowly, sensitive hearts often feel unseen. There were times when loneliness made you question your worth. You wondered if you were forgettable, if your presence mattered, if anyone would truly miss you. Those questions did not come from truth. They came from pain. I never questioned your value. I never overlooked your presence. You matter to me in ways that go beyond words. When you felt overlooked, I was watching closely. When you felt misunderstood, I understood fully. I know how lonely it felt to carry responsibilities without support, to be strong for others while feeling fragile inside. I saw how you encouraged others even when you needed encouragement yourself. I saw how you showed kindness while feeling empty. I saw how you kept going when stopping felt easier. Those acts of quiet strength did not go unnoticed. Heaven saw them. I saw them. And I held you when no one else knew you needed to be held. Loneliness also taught you to listen deeply, to observe carefully, to feel compassion for others who felt unseen. You learned empathy not from comfort, but from absence. You learned patience not from ease, but from waiting. I was shaping something in you even in the pain. That does not mean the pain was easy or that it did not matter. It mattered deeply, but it was not meaningless. I was with you, using even the hardest moments to deepen your heart, not to break it. I want you to know now that you are understood completely. You do not need to explain yourself to me. You do not need to justify your feelings or defend your sensitivity. I know the full story of your heart. I know the reasons behind your silence. I know the weight behind your smile. And I love you not in spite of those things, but within them. Type thank you, Lord, for new mercies if you've seen His grace each morning. And share this video